Hello everyone, I am back and I am still fighting with this stupid Modix printer. To get you up to date, I actually finished printing a part. I don't know if I showed it before. Here it is. Sorry, a little scattered right now. There we go. There's my part that I printed on the little Ender 3. $99 printer that just pumps out parts. I was trying to print a larger scale version of this. This is 18:1. I was trying to print it 8:1. That's where this ghost image is, where I tried to start printing. It just kept going, print after print. Right there's one. That's the furthest it got on any print. So actually some people said, hey, you're trying to do too much with this printer. Kind of stupid if you ask me, because this is a 2 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot printer and it can't print something bigger than that. Anyway, so to humor them, I said, all right, fine. I will try to print the exact same thing that the little $99 printer prints without trouble. Well, it's still not printing. I actually got a new profile from someone, said I was trying to print too much, too fast, blah, 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 overdriving the Modix printer. So he sent me a new profile. I took his profile in, took a part that had worked fine previously, and start printing. Well, it's doing the exact same thing it's been doing all along. It'll print for a little while. Initially it was 15 minutes, now it's down to about 10 minutes. And then the hot end clogs. So I have to go off, clear out the clog, and I pause the print. I'm going to do that, pause the print. Otherwise I end up starting all over again. Pause the print, go off, clear the clog, hit resume, and it'll print again for a little while. Now it's down to about 10 minutes between clogs. I have a timer set, so it'll probably go off, might go off while we're doing this. If it does, I gotta stop and see what's going on. This last time, I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put the exact same filament in, because everyone takes guesses at what's going on, and so far their guesses have been as wrong as mine. So anyway, that's why you now see the light gray going down over the red. The red, you see that blob right there? Honestly, this thing does stupid stuff like that. Previously, the surface wasn't even flat. When I would look across it from the front, it would look like the surface of the one with these little pock marks sticking up all over the place. And of course, when the head would travel in between major moves, I could hear the head hit those pock marks. Obviously not good. So after a while, I started taking a single edge razor blade like so, and while I was doing the extrusion, clearing the clog, I would take this across the surface and level the surface. Alright, so you can see there's my timer. Let's see, that's one going up. That's my stopwatch. So go to my timer, hopefully my timer's set. There we are. So I have a little over 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. I set it late, so it might have to stop early. The other thing I do is I come in here and I take my Sharpie and I mark filament, and I watch for if that filament's not moving, then I stop it. What I found is if I catch it right when it stops, the clog clears relatively easily and I can continue on. If I let it go, thinking, maybe it's not so bad, the clog gets worse. So I've learned from that. What else was I going to say other than I'm frustrated, obviously, for obvious reasons. It's doing pretty good so far, but like I said, I'm only 5 minutes into my 10-minute break. I really want some coffee. It is 1 o'clock. And I haven't been able to go get coffee because I got to babysit this thing. I can't get up there and back in 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is the next time it clogs, I'm going to stop it, pause, go get my coffee, and then come back and continue. I have experimented with how long I leave it sitting, and it doesn't seem to matter if I in fact, if I hurry up and rush and clear the clog and continue, there's been times that it's only gone a couple of minutes before it clogs again. Whereas if I let it sit for a while, sometimes it helps. I do have the filament on roller bearings here. It works great while it works, but right now you'll hear me every once in a while. I grab the spool, pull on it, just so I have slack here, so no one can say, because the first thing, oh well, your filament's got travel issues. No, it doesn't. And again, the Creality uses the exact same setup, and it does it with no problem. My goal is to get this Creality going as well, but I wanted to print something bigger, and I'm limited by the bed size of this. So it can't even print this flat, because it's, if you look, let's see if I can move this up. Oops, wrong way. This up a little bit. There we go. Put this on here, and you can see it almost would fit, but not quite, and not quite doesn't cut. So my next step was to, so what I have to do is I have to print this up on end, and that's why this end looks funky, is because that's the end that was down there, so that's the bed. That has to be on a bed, and I have to print this at a 45-degree angle. All of this one I can print straight up. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, cut off enough of the back end so that it'll fit flat, because it takes a long time to print it up on end, and I don't even need this center section right here. That's what I was going to do this morning, and then the file came in to try this, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to get this Modix printer going first. Then I'll go off and work on the ender. Well, that ain't happening, because I have to babysit this stupid Modix printer. All right, where are we at now? Oh, 45 seconds left, so. It's still moving, Wow. 10 whole minutes. All right, here's some of the stuff. If I haven't posted the last video up, again, I was thinking I would push the button in this thing, but I get both printers running, and they take 4 hours to print anything, and so during that 4 hours I was going to push some more videos up and get them going and all that, but that didn't happen. Here is the part I printed earlier on the little one. This was an issue because the filament got stuck, and I wasn't paying attention, so I printed half of it good. I don't know where it is, it's around here somewhere. I printed half of it good, and then the other half it didn't. Let me kill this alarm. Let me double check. All right, it's still printing, it's still advancing, so I'm going to risk it and let it continue printing and see what happens. I'll be shocked if it continues, but who knows? It could be that filament. I don't know. But if it is and it keeps printing, or if it was the filament and it keeps printing, it means that I'm getting my coffee. Not happy about that. Anyway, all right, that's all I have. I just wanted to update you. I know people are anxious. Some are anxious to see what's going on. I know I'm anxious to see what's going on. I know Charlie's anxious to actually get a part. That's why I decided to go ahead and babysit this, so I can at least show him, look, you know, even if we have to babysit the stupid thing, at least we can get it to print, and then we just got to figure out I don't know. I don't know how to get it to quit clogging. I've tried everything. I tried temperatures up, temperature down. The silicone sock on, off, different fans, different extruders, different heaters, different nozzles. Nothing seems to matter. When I was printing slower, it would actually go, I don't know, 3 hours or so before it would clog. And then I said, hey, they've got all of these, how to speed up your print, knock 80% off your print time. So I did one of those. Sure enough, it knocked the theoretical print time from 4 days down to 12 hours. Well, the problem is, it didn't finish printing. It actually, so I thought, oh, well, if it's 12 hours to print, I can get 4 or 5 hours. I'll get half of the thing printed before it clogs and chokes. Well, instead, it not only sped up the print time, but it sped up the time to clog. So, once again, I got about the same spot, and it clogged and quit printing. So, that didn't work. Again, as I'm talking, I've got to mark this, make sure it's still working. All right, well, it's still going. I don't know how much you want to see. I have no choice but to sit here and babysit the stupid thing. It's not consistent. That little crosshatch pattern over where the wheels are should be solid. It's not. Don't know why it's doing that, but as long as that outline is solid, that's what I really care about. I actually have to cut out the wheels anyway, because my goal is to take this and set it over the C8 model. Let me go while we're talking. Here's the C8 model. So I have a C8. I scanned my C8 with my scanner, with the hood off, the fenders off, the back end off, and went to go print it. Well, the printer said, hey, you've got a non-watertight model or non-manifold model. What do you want to do? And there was an option to repair it. I hit repair. So what it did was it just said, these areas where there's nothing, I'll just go ahead and put solid material. Not really what I wanted, but by looking at the picture of the car and the actual 3D image, I can see what all of these little things are. At some point, I'm going to come in and trim them off, because like this area right here is not critical. If you look from the top, you can barely make it out. Let's see, where's the other? Here's the C8. All right, if you look at the hood of the C8, it has this W shape where the hood, front of the hood is. If you look at this plastic model, there's that W shape. I can see it myself. It's a lot harder to see in video than it is, but it goes here, down, there's the W, and then it comes back up and right there. This edge you see right here and right here is right, let me get the right angle so you can see it. There you can just make it out. That's where the hood line is. And so underneath here is a series of fasteners that go along. My goal was to try to make the new front end fit on this. I did it on the C8 to C2. The issue with that is when I was done, let's see, I don't think I have that one. I just have pictures of it. When I was done with it, the C2, here's a C2. Actually, it's a grand sport. Oh, there's a C2 that's not a grand sport. It's a little model that Brett Baker sent me. You can see the front of the hood of a C2 is straight across. I said, oh, I'll just go ahead and leave the W. It doesn't matter. Well, when I got done, the W was pretty prominent. I mean, it's hard to hide it. Now, in the case of that car, it's a white car, so any gap is going to be dark. But on a white car, it definitely shows that gap. So I'm thinking about, when I do this, going straight across instead of having that W. What that would mean is it would still need to bolt to these supports, because I don't want to remake all these supports, but it'll be flat through here. So instead of it coming up immediately into a fender, what it would do is it would come straight out, and then when it reaches where the squared edge of the fender is right there, it would come up and meet with the fender. Here, like this. Oh, and I also plan on putting this hood scoop and these fender flares on one of the cars. Anyway, first I got to get all this stuff working before I can even get to there. Back where I was, okay, so when it filled in, it not only filled in here, there was space here, the fender was off here, the back end was off. Well, when it repaired the model, it said, hey, you got a big hole right here. Tell you what, I'm gonna fill in this hole with a big flat area. What I really wanted was for it to do that, say, you know what, you got nothing there, so I'm going to print nothing. But obviously it wouldn't be manifold or watertight with these huge holes. But you can see, if you look, it's kind of translucent. See my finger there? So at some point I'm going to cut that out. But if it works like I want, I will take this bottle right here, cut out the bottom of it, gut it, and then, since I'm going to use this center section of the C8 up to the doors and through here, I'm going to actually cut this part out as well. Make it open, and then ideally that will sit right on top of there. And what I'm looking for is where are the areas where this body won't fit over the areas that I don't want to remove from the C8. Where that is, this design needs to subtly or not so subtly change so that it will actually fit over this. I have a funny suspicion that this back corner right here, if you look, I made this scale the same as the C8. I will be shocked if this corner and this piece right here doesn't stick out right here. The saving grace is this model right here, which has a wing. So what I'm going to do is put this wing or a wing of some shape over the area that sticks out here, which I suspect it will. So if the area sticks out, I'll put a wing over it, figure out how to contour it in, and that should solve that issue. What else do I have? Oh, here's part of a C8 that is only the, I guess, right side. So obviously fits right there, same scale, same everything. Finish is rough because I didn't care, and I have some file issues with printing things. But that lets me see that what I was talking about. You can see that there's the tail end of the C8, there's the wing. It looks like that wing can be made to work, so that's not a huge issue. If we look at it without the wing, put this on here, and you can see that we've got an issue. We flip it around the other side. And if we line that up, you can see that there's an issue. The back of the C8 sticks out. The reason why that's an issue is on the hardtop convertible, this is the trunk. And then on the hatchback, this is the hatch. And my goal was not to have to cut the hatch right here on a C8. See, it goes all the way back to here and opens up to this corner. It doesn't show the seam. It does slightly, but it's hard to see again. I can see it in the light here, but it's hard to see on video. But maybe you can make it out. Right there is the seam. Yeah, you can very slightly see it. It's because the filament lines are in the same direction as the seam. But you can barely make it out there. So I don't want to have to cut the hatch of every car that I rebody. Anyway, that's all the stuff I've got. My goal was to have these 3D models done and cut them and hack them and do all this stuff. And I thought I would be done with this, I don't know, 3 months ago. I'm still fighting with it. Speaking of which, fighting, go check and make sure this thing's still. Yep. You watch that little red line is still moving down. Good sign. So, I don't know. Maybe that was contributed. that's the fourth different roll of filament that I've been using, and all the others do the same thing. They're all clogged. So I assumed that filament wasn't the issue, but maybe it's contributing now that the other issues are potentially fixed. I mean, it could be that it was 5 things contributing to it not extruding or stopping its extrusion at some point, and I finally gotten down to the 5th one, which was filament, and the other 4 were contributing, but anyway, just a theory. All right, I've rambled enough, so this is going to be a real short video. It isn't, because, like I said, I'm running around trying to do a million things at once. I just want some parts. Ideally, I'd love to have a 3D print of my cars as big as this will print, which is, like I said, 2 foot wide, 2 foot deep, move that box, and 4 foot long. So that would be great to have. It would be almost like a pedal car, maybe a kid's pedal car. I can't fit in it, but maybe a kid could. And if nothing else, you know, 1/4 scale, 1/8 scale, you know, 1/8 scale's that one right there. Oh, there we go, 1/8 scale. My radio controlled car. It's an 1/8 scale radio controlled car. So I would like to be able to put my body on that. And then I have my own radio controlled car of any of my many different body designs I've been working with. Oh, there's that vacuum I couldn't find right here. So this one, it printed, I had it printed sitting this way. It got up to a certain point, the filament got caught. It was real thin, but it was still working, so I said, I'll let it go. And then it got up to a certain point and the nozzle hit the part and it knocked this part loose, so I just stopped it. Then I printed this one nose down. So it printed just fine. I was careful to make sure the filament did not get stuck. But that's why this end looks funky, because that's the end that was down. And then the end looks funky because that's the end that was down. So my next step was, again, going to this printer so that I can print it flat and both ends would look good. Okay, so like, subscribe, hit alert, hit thanks if it's there. Somebody said they couldn't find the thanks, but I also put the same blurb on my Facebook page, so maybe that's what they were talking about. I need to take some time and look, see what's going on there. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know jack. See you next time. Bye.